I'm just gonna talk about the pilots for a little bit, and by no means am I a pilot specialist. I'm still trying to figure it out and figure out what's working for me and what I need to upgrade. And so I think I can maybe give a few tips to maybe some of the new players or even medium players. And I think if I would have known what I know now, I probably would have done just a little bit different things with this. But starting out to the left hand top there, you have basically your pilot attributes, and I do believe that all of this does apply, basically to your overall play. And so if you just go through here, you can kind of see what you're lacking and kind of what you want to pump up. And, this does have a correlation with basically, we are in Planet Wars. I'll just click over to here real quick. And it does have an impact on how you are playing against other players, to different things like that. And so I'll give you an example here. I'll compare attributes real fast here, but right here is kind of telling you, I know for a fact though, your first things that you're looking at, especially in Planet Wars, are a lot of this is based on your technologies also. So especially the first couple here, and actually a lot of this is based on your technologies, but it also is based on your pilots also. So like damage received reduction you can get from your pilots, your dodge you can get from Freya. So there is quite a few things going back into Planet Wars with the pilots and how you're kind of setting your pilots up and getting their stars and different things like that. So I'll kind of start out that way, and I think that's kind of important and how I've been doing this lately. And so if we go back here, go back to the pilots, and of course to the right hand top, you have grade, power, and star. And for me, I tend to look at power in a lot of ways. Freya, for example, I was going back to Planet Wars, and the dodge, I think that's a pretty big attribute to have, is your dodge. The more you can dodge weapons, I think the better you're going to do. So I've been kind of going after Freya, and I'm pretty close. And you can see I've already got all of their basically I've got all of her education done, which was important to me. I'll go into that just a little bit, but I am super close to leveling her up to the next star, which is 6 stars. And to me, I think she's a pretty important pilot, just because of what I was saying, dodge, going back to the Titan and the blast and different things like that. So I've been kind of going after her for that attribute. And when I first started really doing the pilots, and I'm going to go a little backwards on some of my other videos. I did a lot of testing on, are the weapons created kind of equal? What is the stronger weapon? And unfortunately for me, knowing now that the wing gun is the weaker weapon, I probably would have went after a different pilot. But I do have gun load awakened, and I'm not going to complain about that. And I'll tell you another reason why, and we'll go into kind of jumping around a tiny bit. But with gun load, what's important for her is the physical defense break and the physical defense. And so a lot of these pilots, you're going to see the differences between the physical defense and the energy, and what does that actually mean. And so with physical defense, the Gold Conqueror, we have a lot of old players. We didn't have the new ships that had come out, the new Conquerors, and so a lot of old players play with the Gold Conqueror, and it is a physical weapon off the Gold Conqueror. So if you have physical defense, you're going to do better against the Gold Conqueror with the physical defense versus some of the newer players. And now that they've came out with some of the other basically ships, some of those are energy weapons that come off of those. And so it's important that if you're playing against a player and let's say they're using an energy ship, that you would want your energy defense and break to be up on that. So there's a pretty big difference in what those are doing. But me personally, I like to go after a little bit more of the physical defense, just due to and the physical break, just due to the fact you still have a lot of the old players that are using the Conqueror, and I think you're going to face that more than you will the energy. But with all the newer players and people pumping up some of these other ships, that's kind of how you set that up. So pending on again who you're playing against, or maybe even a Titan, or you'll kind of want to keep an eye out for that. But me personally, I'm kind of big into collecting my physical defense and defense break. So just kind of break that down just a little bit. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do this. All of these pilots have an attribute that are important. But I think if I was a newer player, I personally would start going after more of my main gun stuff, my main missiles, and anything that has to do with against a player would be pretty important. Because again, if we're going into Planet War and we're playing against two other players, I think those are going to be your strong attributes, especially if you're trying to get ahead a little bit into Planet Wars. And then, of course, your boss upgrades would be what? Your Titan. So I think if I was playing this just a little bit differently, and I started over, I would start focusing just a little bit more into those areas. But, don't get me wrong, the critical is very important. The critical reduce. That's basically saying, if somebody's powerful and they're, using their weapons against you, you're going to take less or you're going to give more critical damage. So, again, every one of these pilots are important, but, my tip is, again, for me, it's the Titan challenge, because the more points we get, the higher score we get. And again, with Planet Wars and playing against other players, I think I would focus just a little bit more into that realm. So there's just my tip, a little bit on the pilots, and just kind of what's going on with the physical defense break and the energy defense break, and so on and so on. So hopefully this just helps a little bit. If you guys are using a pilot that you're really successful with, let us know what you're using and how you're using it, and why you're using it. But I'll give you guys a little scoop here, going back to what I was saying. Now that I realized what could be a little bit more important for me, if you look at the training manuals, anything that's red, that's kind of what I've been going after. And going back to the critical damage that I was talking about. So if I scroll through here, damage against boss, exactly what I just said. So again, all of these are very important, but I'll kind of scroll through here. Missile attack. I love my missiles. And right here, total bonus damage received from players is reduced. It's kind of a no-brainer there, especially when you're going back to the whole Planet War. But anything red, you can see what I'm going after. She is more wing gun, so I've been kind of shying away from the wing gun more to put my time and energy kind of into these other things that I've been talking about. And so I'll just kind of scroll through here, let you guys kind of see. So these ones have been kind of my important ones to go after. And example again, total bonus damage against players. It's kind of a no-brainer now that I kind of got a little bit more of a grasp on what I'm wanting to do, what weapons are working better for me, and so on and so on. So again, if you guys have any comments, or let me know what's working for you. What ships are you using, and why are you using this pilot the way that you're using it? I think that would be a cool discussion, and that's kind of why I'm doing the videos. We just don't get enough videos on the internet to just friendly explanations or friendly discussion, and that's kind of why I started doing these videos. And I do appreciate you coming to the page, and be sure to leave a comment. And last but least, have fun.